I'm Scott Bain. They call me the old farmer, and this is my 2.5 cents worth. I was watching a scientific seminar, one of those things that you see on the internet, on YouTube. Some of the scientific organizations have put their lectures up on the internet so the public could watch, and some of them are very good. And from time to time, I go in and watch these science lectures and enjoy them tremendously. Well, the other day, one of the lecturers who was talking about astronomy happened to come up and said the thing that just absolutely grinds my cookies, denying that Pluto is the 9th planet. Now, if it was something specific, the word, well, let me go back and say it this way. This is the guy that got everything started. Last time I knew, he was in charge of a planetarium. And folks, a good YouTuber could go and do a better job at planetary presentations than what he can. The guy is a physicist, and it takes an understanding of astronomy, yes, but kind of a horseback understanding of it. You go and talk to the experts and put your project together that way. It's more of an audiovisual presentation than it is a physical one. So you don't have to be a rocket scientist to be responsible for a planetarium. He is a physicist, and if he had come up and said that, through studies and everything, we found that the speed of light is a little bit different than the 186,000, whatever it is, miles per second, and we should change it. I would sit there and go, yes, we should. We should change that. But when you talk about planets, two things to keep in mind. The term is a generic term. Something like along the lines of warm. What is too warm? What is too cool? Warm is a general word that is vaguely descriptive. Warm for you may be cool for me. I used to really appreciate what this guy did. And the more I see him, the more I just... He is not the sharpest chopstick in the silverware drawer. Let's put it that way. He may be highly intelligent, but lacks a lot of common sense, critical thinking. Planet is a term like warm, like wet, like hot. General term. It doesn't specify anything other than to give you a general direction to head. That's what a planet is. And in fact, here's a couple of sources for putting up. The first one I've got is from Wikipedia. The second one is from lexicon.com, which is run by our favorite dictionary company, and that's the Oxford English Dictionary. And when you look at the definition of it, just about anything's a planet. So here comes Dr. Neil deGrasse Tyson, goes to his buds over there at the IAU, and fast-talked them into making themselves look pretty stupid. Again, if they wanted to adjust the speed of light because they found a difference in it, they should. If they want to create a word, and this they even talked about, you can see it in their papers if you go over there, we should find different words than planet and come up with our own names for things. That would be the right thing to do. The word planet is owned by the people. If a group wanted to change the definition of the word planet, it would probably be the International Linguistic Association. That would be the people that would be changing the definition of a generic word, such as tall, such as big, such as planet. It's out of the realm of scientists because it's not a scientific term. I don't know whether someone talked the good doctor into this stunt to make him look foolish and make the Astronomical Union look foolish. But if that was the case, they stepped right into it. If I was a member of the union and they pulled a stunt like this, I would drop out, because they're going off and saying, look how important we are. We're going to change things. And you can see it in the lectures of scientists. They're trying to protect the union from the backlash. Pluto is a planet. If you look at the definition that they prescribe as a planet, Pluto fits the bill. It's supposed to be basically round. It's supposed to be able to clear the area of its orbit, maybe have moons circling it, all the things that Pluto has. Now, granted, it's a small planet, and I'm not going to deny that. Here's the thing. The public sees Pluto as a planet, and the thing that they should have done is invent a word and define what the definition means. And there was a lot of people who were not happy with the stunt that were members of the International Astronomy Union, and now they're out there kind of trying to protect the union and the group from looking very foolish by trying to change the definition of what the word planet is, and that Pluto's outside of it. You know, if the International Linguistic Association went through on to change the definition of the word planet, I would have had no problems whatsoever with it, because that's their ballywig. I've lost respect for that man, Dr. Neil deGrasse Tyson. And I used to think, man, this is the guy that was going to be replacement for the late Carl Sagan. I really did. Because we needed a scientist out there to step into the shoes of Carl Sagan. And Carl Sagan was more of an instructor than a physicist or a scientist. In other words, where his strength was out explaining things to the public. And he did an excellent job on that. And I think that to replace a fallen scientist who explains to the public what science is and what's going on was an excellent role for Dr. Tyson. When you start getting egotistical, and when you start saying you're going to do it my way, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do that, and yada, yada, yada. I've watched him on some of the YouTube programs where he just talks back and forth with people. And there's a difference between the big ego and being egotistical. We can go back a few years and say Johnny Carson or The Tonight Show. That was before Jay Leno. He just seemed like a humble guy. On television, no big deal, just kind of the goofy kid that you grew up in school with. But very strong ego. The Johnny Carson on TV was not the Johnny Carson that was in real life. I don't want to get into the history of Johnny Carson, but he was a completely different person. I'm saying this with Tyson, but he's letting it out and letting people see how egotistical he is. Strong ego? Yeah, I got no problem with that. You got to have a strong ego if you're going to go out in public. You really do. Even on YouTube, you have to have an ego to do that. To demonstrate the things that he demonstrates in his personality and such. I'm Tyson. I'm important. What I say matters. One of the last things I saw Tyson, just to give you an idea, the people were talking about alien life forms and whether people have been abducted and all that sort of stuff. And he says, show me an alien, I'll believe in it. In other words, present repeatable facts and I'll believe it. And that's what a scientist should do. And someone else brought up theology. Well, that's just a bunch of crap. That's just this. That's silliness. That's makes no sense. Those people, just negative, rather than saying, show me that there's something to religion, and I'll agree with it. I'll say, yeah, okay. I'll nod and say, yeah, I understand it. But no, completely different attitude. Very hateful. That startled me. The thing that just turned me off on Dr. Tyson was his campaign to say Pluto wasn't a planet. Well, that's an English decision, not a scientific one. And he and his little cronies are wrong, and they need to be embarrassed. They should be. And I think they are to some degree. Just by the stuff that I see when scientists come out and trying to overemphasize that Pluto is no longer a planet. Even if they're not really talking about Pluto, they kind of try to nudge it in there, trying to get people to start thinking that Pluto isn't a planet, but yet by the definition of the IAU, it's a planet. Look at it. Go and look at their site yourself and see if Pluto isn't within the definition of a planet. Dr. Tyson, get a different term, define it as an IAU term, and do whatever you want. I don't care. If PBS happens to be listening, It's maybe about time that we get Tyson off of PBS too. I'm starting to see in some of the stuff that he's doing on PBS that, well, let's put it this way, he's no Carl Sagan, and it just makes me wish to see Carl Sagan back. Someone out there is going to say it's a racial thing. No, Carl Sagan was a Jew. I've got nothing wrong with the Jewish people. I got nothing wrong with the race of an individual. I look at the character of the individual. If they're good people, they're good people, and I want them around me. If they're people like Tyson, then I don't want them around me. Back when I was growing up, my best neighbors were actual Mexicans, not Latinos or whatever. They actually came from Mexico, and they were the best neighbors that we had. Decent people, highly respect them, intelligent. So growing up on a farm, I judge the worth of an individual by what they do and how they act. Dr. Tyson, he has failed in my eyes and is getting progressively worse in his failure day after day. You may disagree with me. That's fine and dandy. That's why this is America. We can talk about it. This is the old farmer, Scott Bain, saying, be well.